difficult
That difficult.
to get that going. It's crazy. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're good. We're good now.
Yeah, we're good. All
Um,
right.
yeah, whenever technology works, it works. When it
Or,
doesn't, it
hello.
does not work. Yeah. So,
Does not.
all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Into the Woods. This is Dwayne,
This is Danita. Hi, everyone.
and we are back, y'all. Into the Woods. We have not been live for a few weeks. We taped our last show, recorded our last show, and you are here. But welcome back, and we're glad that you're here. This is Into the Woods, and in the show, we talk about ourselves. We are the Woods, and there are 6 of us, actually. You actually met one of us, so there are 2 of us on the show now, and hopefully we will get more of our team on so that you can meet them. But the hope is that you will identify with something that we talk about, something that we say, some story that we give, some emotion, some thought process. And as we think about it and talk about it, we can all come out of the woods, right? Into the woods, out of the woods. Come out of the woods together. Well, we're glad that you're here tonight. And Danita, so what's going on?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Tired.
Hot and
That's
tired,
all
right?
I got.
Oh, I know the summer is it's hot. We've been having a lot of rain the last day or so, so it's a little cooler. And I was telling you that when I was outside in the sunroom and it was raining because I love rain, and so just hearing it fall on the roof, I just fell asleep. But I set my alarm to go off, and it went off, and I said, "Oh, I got another half an hour." And you know how that is when you lay back down for half an hour? It's never a half an hour. So I jumped up. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm late." So anyway, so guys, thanks for joining us. And Danita, sorry I'm late.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was actually late myself. I literally just ran in the door not too long ago. So, I mean, I guess we're on the same wavelength somehow.
All right. So what's been going on? So last time we were here, we talked a little bit more about you gave us an update on the job, and we had a good conversation. What's happened since then?
The same.
Same, more of the
It's
same.
nothing different. Same old, same old. It's draining me. I'm tired. Like you guys will hear this for a little while. I'm always tired, and it's a new job. But I mean, it's going well. You know, I'm still learning a lot. So yeah, it's
Okay,
good.
good. Well, we are back from camping. So we were camping. Let's see. We had 2 camps that we went to. So my son went away to a sleepaway camp. So that's a week. And then we came back, and then we went away, and we were in tent camping. So we did that last weekend, and are back. So it was fun. It was a lot of work. The people camped, or the group camped from Wednesday. I didn't make it down there until Friday, so we camped Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with them. But it was fun. We're preparing for our trip next year, 2024. We're going to Wyoming, and we're expecting a lot of people. So last time we had this camp, it's usually a every 5-year camp. So the last time we had camp, and then COVID came, of course, and messed up the schedule. So it's been, I think we're 2 years overdue for the camp. And last time we camped, I think there were 60,000 people that camped with us. Yeah. So we're expecting even a bigger number. That was pre-COVID, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're expecting even a bigger number because it's been longer. So it's that, we were a few years over, and people hadn't had a chance to get together. So because of COVID, so we're anticipating a lot bigger group coming out. So we're really looking forward to that. Yep.
60,000 people.
60,000.
What is that like, being on a campsite with 60,000 people? Does it feel like 60,000? Is it cramped? Is it noisy? Like what is the experience like?
Now, when we were there, we didn't know that it was that many people.
Okay.
So it wasn't until we got back and then we got the final number that they were like, oh yeah, there were 60,000 people. So what is it like? I mean, it's amazing because we're meeting people from all over the world. And so we had a challenge that we made with our kids, that the person who came back when we got back home, the person who had the most signatures on a T-shirt or on we had a bandana that they got, and so it was a chance for them to go around and meet people from different countries. Right. So the person who got the most different, right? So not just one country, so most different signatures met the most people from different places. So it was a little competition that we had, and so it was good.
Oh, wow. Good. Nice. That sounds like fun. I've never experienced anything like that.
Oh my, yeah. It was my first time going to that camp, and it was called Oshkosh. This time we're going to Camp Gillette in Gillette, Wyoming. We're going to camping in Gillette, Wyoming. Let me say it that way.
Okay.
So I'm anticipating more people. We are actually taking a larger group than we did last time. More parents, I think, are coming on the trip. A lot of parents aren't necessarily camping. They're getting, they're not tent camping. Glamping. Let me say that. They're getting RVs and so forth.
Yeah, they're glamping.
So, but yeah, it should be good. It should be fun, and the kids learn. So as we're there, we're learning skills. So, if people who are out there who are listening think about something like Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, this is Pathfinders, right? And so it's similar to them. So we have our uniform. We do classes where you earn honors, which is what we call them. So you get badges for your uniform. As we talk, I think I'm going to try to see if I could find a picture of me. Let me see if I'll try to find a picture of me so that you guys can see me in my Pathfinder uniforms. But yeah, it was fun, and the kids had a good time. It reminded me of when I was in Pathfinders, and we would go up to Victory Lake, and the summer that I was a camp counselor, and yeah, it was good. It was good.
Fun.
So, but I came back and I had these rashes, these little bumps and some irritation, and I was itching and so forth. And so I started looking at my body, and I found a tick. That was attached to me, to the back of my leg. And so we took it off. And I mean, even in the short period of time that I took it off, I'm not itching as much. I don't have as much of the almost like you had a whelp that was all of them all over. Multiple places. From
one tick.
From one tick, y'all. From one tick.
Oh,
isn't it crazy? Yep.
Don't they have tick repellent?
Well, you know what?
I figure they have so many repellents for bugs. Is there one for ticks?
Yeah, so things like bug repellent and so they're all supposed to work.
Okay.
But sometimes it seems like, for instance, mosquitoes, because we had the spray. I think the mosquitoes, they're just sitting waiting with the cup, and they're like, "Yo, dude, can I get some of that stuff?"
Doesn't work, right?
It doesn't always work. But yeah. So I'm gonna have to see what happens. So I'm actually feeling better. I don't have any fatigue. Okay. I don't have any joint aches right now. Like I said, the little lesions that I had on my body have started to resolve. So yeah, so we'll see. Yeah,
that's great. I'm not going out in the wild. I don't want
no. Well, see that's the thing, right? So it's not to scare people. You just have to be careful. In fact, we went hiking while we were away here, because we just did, and the camp that we just did was a readiness camp for our trip next year. So we do a series of those to kind of get ready. Last October, I think it was, we went to what was called the Southern Union Camporee, and I think that was 5,000 people. So no, so we're getting ready because a lot of the kids who are with us have never camped. So now a lot of the kids. So we went in October. We just went. So that's twice that they've camped, and so we do training and honors and stuff to get them ready so that they kind of know
they kind of know when they go
what's expected.
Okay.
So this is a side view of me marching in. Let me see if I can, and it's not a very clear picture. Let's see. I want to do full screen. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's my uniform. And as we talk, I'm going to try to see if I can find one where I'm facing front.
Forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Wow.
So that's
Look at
that's
you.
me. I'm saying.
Listen. He's still in Pathfinder, guys. I used to be in Pathfinders too. I didn't like it.
You
Like
didn't?
he said, you had to swim. I still don't know how to swim. I don't know how to make fire with 2 sticks. I don't know none of that stuff. But it is fun because you meet a lot of people.
It is, and you do. It's a big thing. Oh, here's one of me at the mic,
Okay.
so you can see my uniform. And so all those badges are honors that I've done. And in the upper left-hand corner, over my right shoulder, you'll see all the classes that I've gone through. So my uniform, this is a Master Guide uniform. So it is the after you've completed all of the classes, then you can become a Master Guide, and then you can become a leader in the program. So yeah.
Wow.
So I had to, to go back to Danita saying, so I started my Master Guide when I was in New York. Okay. So back, before I went to college. So I started that. But I never finished, right? Because, we did the wilderness camping. We started doing all of the requirements, and I didn't finish. So when I was in, it's pre-medical school actually. So I was in Birmingham. I was at one of the churches, and they needed help with Pathfinders. And so while I was there, the director, Sister Wesley, said, "Hey, you need to just finish your Master Guide." And so I finished it under her down in Birmingham. And after I finished, went to medical school and so forth. And actually, we were moving, and I put on weight, so I got rid of all my uniform, everything.
Wow.
And so now, flash forward, and my son is in Pathfinders, and they needed help. And so now I had to go back and recreate my uniform and get all my badges and so forth. And so I'm one of the counselors in our group, in our program. And so when the kids join Pathfinders, my class is the first class. I'm the friend. So it's friend, companion, explorer, ranger, voyager, and guide. And so I'm the first one that they go through as they join our program. So yeah.
Okay. 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's Go ahead. So guys, as Danita is going, that's Pathfinding 101. All right. Pathfinding 101. So let me hop over here. Okay, you're back.
I'm back.
So once a Pathfinder, always a Pathfinder, right? So once a Master Guide, always Master Guide. So even Danita is saying that she didn't finish. That's okay. She can still go back, and she can still finish her classes. She can still become a Master Guide, and she can still become a part of the program.
Yeah, no.
So we're hoping that Blake goes through and does the Master Guide before he gets to college, or even while he's in college. And so he may not use it right now, but down the road, you never know where you are, and it becomes a good thing. So actually, that's a good thing for us to talk about. Okay, that's a good
Yes,
thing for us
guys,
to talk
I'm
about.
sorry. 1 second, please. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. And let me see if I can pop up and just do a plane. I'll just do myself for now. I thought I would. And so Danita is going to be back in just a minute. But until she comes back, let's go ahead and do that. Boom. And but yeah, as we are going through, let's see. I'm gonna back to live. Okay.
I'm back, guys. Sorry.
Back. Cancel. You're back.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, hold on a second. There. Okay, there you are. So, back to live. Publish. Okay, there we are. So good thing for us to talk about. So, and I'm going to use myself as an example. All right. So when I left high school and went to college, I went to college because I wanted to be a pastor. And I think a lot of people know that. So in college, so I'm going through my program, and in my junior year, y'all. So I had gone through, I had done all the basic requirements. I'm doing my Greek and Hebrew, contemporary theology. I had gone through public evangelism and Old Testament prophets and all those things. And I decided I did not want to pursue that anymore. So I picked up a major in math and computer science. So I ended up staying an extra year in college to get those 2 degrees. And so I went to graduate school in computer science. And I was in graduate school for 3 years. And in graduate school, had trouble with my qualifying exam. And so I left graduate school and I started teaching. And it was then that I decided I wanted to do medicine. Okay, so during that whole process. So as people we got I got a young man in my house who's growing and developing. And we don't know yet what he's going to do, what he wants to do. He's had some ideas. But all of us, as we go through our lives, there are changes that we make. Mm-hmm. And sometimes in the space where we find ourselves, sometimes we are resenting that place. We're like, I don't want to be here. This is not what I want to do. I want to do that other thing that didn't work out. So I'm now here. So I guess a conversation for us to have is just like my pathfinding, right? I became a master guide, and it was years and years and years that I never did anything with it. And then all of a sudden I found myself in a space where I needed those skills. So I guess my question to start off the conversation is, how do we stay in a space and learn in that space, even though it's not the space we want to be in?
Well, we have to accept that this is where we are. It's not going to change. We can be upset. We have to accept that this is what it is, right? And once you do that, then you look and say, okay, and it's difficult to do because you don't want to be there. But why am I here? What am I supposed to learn? What can I take from it? Like you said, what can I give back based on the things I've learned in this space? So the first thing is, as with everything, I think, is acceptance, because once you accept it, it makes it easier. You're not fighting against it. So anything you fight against, it just makes everything worse.
I love that. And let me use an illustration. And I've seen this is not new to me, or this is not original with me, because I've seen it on the internet. So there's a teacher, and he gets up and he asks one of the students to stand, and he asks the students to hold his hand up. Okay, and then the teacher begins pushing
Mm-hmm.
And so naturally, the student pushes back. And the
Mm-hmm.
teacher says to them, he said, hey, why did you push back? He said, because you put your hand up. He said, yeah, I told you to get up. I told you to put your hand up, but I never said push.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, I didn't want you to push on me, so I push back is basically
Push back.
what it is. And so his point was anything that we push against
Gonna push
is going to
back.
push back.
Mm-hmm.
Even without, and the same thing in our lives, even without an instruction or a direction to push back, automatically you push back. And I use that a lot in my practice when I talk to my patients with diabetes, patients who have high cholesterol, hypertension, and so forth, people who have BMIs that are large, are elevated. And so they say, well, I've decided that I'm never again for the rest of my life going to eat carbs.
Yeah, of course you're gonna eat
And
the carbs now because it tastes better.
And
Because you said
I
you're
say
not.
to them, well, you have just decided that you're going to fail, because the criteria or the goal that you have just set is not reachable, and we continue to push against that, whatever it is, the craving, the whatever. And so as we push against it, the brain says to us,
Yeah.
right, it's like, well, okay, we can do this for a little bit, and because you said you're not gonna eat no carbs, okay, I'm gonna let you do it, but next week, a week after next, or a month from now, we're having some. And what
And
happens
a lot
is,
of it.
and we're right. Right, and because we've been like, I'm not right. Basically, we white knuckle. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm doing. So when we finally give in, man, baby, it's
Listen, it's on.
We see
It
you. We
is.
see you
Listen.
walking down Nostrand and stopping in every one of the shops, right? Going down Church Avenue, right? This is New York. If anybody's out there,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about some of the streets. But yeah, and
Yeah.
so you end up doing a lot more than
Damage.
you would if you had just not. And it's not a. And I guess let me ask this question, right? Let me finish my thought and then ask the question. So it's not that you are succumbing to, people say, well, if I don't fight it, then I'm basically succumbing to the craving, to the whatever, right? We're using food right now because it's a common thing that everybody understands. But it's
Yeah.
the same thing with a job, right? So because you're in a situation like Danita said, and you're hating it, and and you're just fuming, and the more you fight being there, the more
The harder it
difficult, the harder it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You dread
So
every
let me
day.
ask this question. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm saying you dread anything, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
across. You would just dread it, which makes it that much more difficult for you to execute anything that you want to do.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
here's a question. How, in that same situation though, right? People say, well, if I don't fight it, then I'm giving up. How do we make a distinction between not fighting, but not just accepting what life gives us, right? Because in that situation where, for instance, you're in a job that you don't like, you're in a city that you don't like, you're in a house or an apartment that you don't like, right? So we're not telling people necessarily just stay where you are, right? But we're telling them don't fight it. So some people may interpret that as you're just telling me to just accept it and just be where I am without striving for better. Is that what we're saying?
No, we're not saying to give up and just be overtaken by what's going on. We're saying okay, so you don't like it, but work through it. Make plans while you are there. Like, what things can you do while you're there to get you out of this situation? Right? So for myself, right? Because that's my life right now, the job. I came to a point and said, you know what? I'm just going to mess up. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to have to hear it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn, and then I'm going to quit. And I'm going to find another job. No, I'm making jokes, but I really came to the point where I just said, you know what? I'm trying not to mess up. I'm trying not to make mistakes, but I'm going to make mistakes. And so just accept that that's what's going to happen, and then the learning starts. Then it becomes easier, right?
Okay.
So if you're in a city or someplace you don't like, okay, you're there for however long, what things can you do to help yourself get out of that?
Okay.
So I think
Okay.
that's what we're saying.
Right. So accept that you are where you are, number one,
Hmm.
but know that you don't have to stay there.
You
And
don't have to
then
stay there.
there are things that you can learn in that space that are going to help you later.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Back in the fall of last year, actually, when was it? Was it December? I think it was December. Yeah, I did a series on my show, my show that I do, and I invited people on for that month, and I think we had maybe 23, 24 different people who came on. And the point of the shows was to highlight people who are not necessarily where they want to be, or who were not where
Hmm.
they wanted to be, but were doing their thing in that same space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
learning, waiting, planning. Okay, this is not where I want to be. I'm going somewhere else, but what can I learn and what can I pick up from where I am right now?
Right. But how many stories have we heard with people in a situation that they hated, and at the end of that experience, it's something amazing happened. It
Right.
happens all the time. Right? So,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so acceptance. Um, I think another one is self-reflection, right? So we've accepted where we are, right? Not just giving up. Okay, this is not where I want to
hmm,
be. I'm gonna be somewhere else, and reflecting on who we are personally, right? By taking an honest look of who we are, what our gifts are in that space, right? Because while you're in
hmm,
the space, you need to be doing some learning while you're in the space, some
hmm,
self-reflection, some personal growth. Because when you show up in the space, when the opportunity presents itself, if you have not
hmm,
learned who you are, then sometimes we miss it because we got our head down, right? We're pigeonholed in the
hmm,
space because we're so
hmm,
what's the word? We're so upset that we miss opportunities that
hmm,
may come.
hmm. It's true.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
true.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So some
Don't have
self-reflection.
your head in
So,
the sand. Well,
and
yeah,
then
that's what we do.
I think while you're there, also you got to set some goals. And look, I'm in here, but I'm next 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, I'm heading over here. This is where I want to be. So you got to set some
Hmm.
clear goals. We talk about SMART goals, right? SMART goals, goals that are specific, goals that are measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, right? So SMART. So
Hmm.
not just pie in the sky stuff, but okay, these are the benchmarks that I'm going through
Hmm.
because I'm heading in this other place,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you
right?
have to. I mean, with everything, especially then,
Hmm.
right? Or else you just continue to be disgruntled, and then you're gonna come on the show and we're gonna talk to you.
That's right. And then there's this concept that I have been kind of engaged in and learning and reading and so about, and that is embracing a growth mindset, right? Growth mindset.
Explain.
So a growth mindset says that what I have is not all that I am,
Hmm.
right? So people who don't have a growth mindset say, and I'm gonna use a silly one, right? So I'm from New York, so that's all I can have. I can't go to DC. I can't go to California where the job is. I can't go to Alabama. I can't. I'm in this space, or I don't have a college degree. So because I don't have a college degree, I can't ever get anything. Right? Like I can't get a college degree, or the skills that I have right now are the only skills I'm ever going to have. Right.
Yeah.
So they have limited themselves to just what they have at this moment. And they don't see a vision. They don't see a place where next year, 4 years from now, I can have a college degree. I can have a different job. I can have a new skill.
So how do you get out of that? Let's say your whole family, everyone thinks like that. You've never seen anybody leave New York and go to another state or another country for that matter, because they're trying to follow a dream or follow a job or whatever the case may be. So how do you get that mindset?
Right. So mindset. So you have to put yourself in spaces, and I know everybody's using this word space. You've got to put yourself in the way of opportunity.
Okay.
So that you might be, say you want to be a professor at a university, okay? And right now you're doing a job that is totally unrelated to that. You're a messenger, say in New York, right? I don't know if you remember one summer I was a messenger. Actually, one of my first jobs was being a messenger. Right? So you're a messenger and you are reading about, let's say you want to go to Paris. You want to be in Paris. You want to teach in Paris. You're reading about Paris. You're finding people who speak the language. You're finding people who did what you want to do. You're finding a mentor. You're surrounding yourself with people who say to you, you are a messenger right now, but we know you can be whatever it is you want to be. And I didn't pick a specific, so you want to be a teacher, for example.
Right.
So you've got to envision it, right? You got to have on your door, I'm going to France in 10 years, 5 years, whatever it is. It's like, I can speak the language. You got to start listening to French, right? You got to immerse yourself in those places. Now, as I'm going through all this, there are people who are sitting there and they're saying, well, I don't have the time for that. And that may be the case, but you don't have to do all of it at one time, right? When we think about moving, we're like, okay, I got to find the mentor. I got to speak French. I got to right? So no, just one thing at a time. Remember we talk about SMART goals? It's not like today I'm a messenger and tomorrow I'm going to be standing under the Eiffel Towers. No, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about a process of getting there.
Yes. But I mean, even when it can be difficult if you don't know how to do it or you don't have people surrounding you. But isn't it funny though? I don't know if you find that when you set your mind to do something like this is where I'm going, somehow or the other, certain things fall into place. You don't have to do any work. You might not even have to go find that person who speaks French. You might run into somebody who comes and speaks to you, and you guys become friends and they speak French. So sometimes, we think, oh my gosh, I have to do so much. And sometimes you don't. As long as you set a clear intention, like you said, things start to fall into place.
Right. And it's kind of like when you decide you're going to buy a car or decide you're going to buy a house, or you decide I'm going to get an outfit or a pair of shoes or whatever. Right. It seems like all of a sudden everybody around you bought the same shoes, bought the same house, moved to the same neighborhood, going to the same school. The thing is, those people were already there. But
You're
because yes. But your brain now is looking for those things, and so it sees it. In one of our shows, I think either one of our shows or in my show, I told a story of a guy who had been traveling every morning. He goes to the store, he gets his coffee, he goes down the road and gets to work. Okay. And he comes home one day and his wife says, "Hey, I'm pregnant." Okay. So he comes home one day, wife says, "I'm pregnant." And so the next day he's going to school, he's going to work, and he goes to the coffee shop. He notices that there's a daycare across the street. Mm-hmm. He's driving down the road. He notices there's a pediatrician's office, right, that's down the street. And so he's like, and so people say, "Well, oh, they just built." Well, no, they were always there. All right, they're always there.
You need it now, and now it shows up.
And now it shows up, right?
Yeah.
So if we're not preparing for the place that we want to be, then the things don't show up. It's kind of like that movie. If they build it, they will. If you build it, they will come. If you need it, it will come. Mm-hmm. And how do you say that I need it? You say I need it by you begin preparing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got those SMART goals. We have to embrace that growth mindset, right? So embrace the fact that I can be different. I can be better. I can be more advanced. I can be a new person. I don't have to do what my family did. Come on now. Now that's a hard one. That's a hard one.
That is a hard one. That is hard
because it's been ingrained in us.
Exactly. And you don't see anyone else doing it. Right? In your immediate family. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So embrace a growth mindset. Continuously developing yourself. And that can be said as continue learning. Right. So there's stuff that you're going to do. And I love karate movies. Right? I love karate movies. And one of my favorite group of karate movies is Karate Kid. Right. And so people say, "Oh, that's not real. That's not like real karate," but that's okay. But what I love about those movies is that in each of the movies, Mr. Miyagi is teaching the student, and he has them like washing cars and carrying stuff and doing something that seemingly is unrelated to karate. And then when the time is right, he's like, "Okay, in the karate move, you got to do this. Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, right? You got to you carry this thing. You got to develop your strength." And what they didn't realize was that while he was teaching them things totally seemingly unrelated to karate, he was actually teaching them the basics that were needed for the moves that they would make.
And he got the foundation, didn't even know it. So now it's easier.
Now it's easier.
And I mean, that's what happens to us a lot of times in our lives. We just don't take the time to question, what am I supposed to learn here? You know what I mean? Yeah. Right.
So and that is so, but once again, using myself as an example, or even going back to some of the people I had on the show, the number of people who said that the skills that they learned in that place, that job, that relationship that they didn't like, that they didn't want to be in, are the skills that they use right now.
It's true.
I mean, that's amazing to me that we would be in those places, and if we're not careful, and this is the bad part of this, right? So if we're not careful, we miss the opportunity. We miss the opportunity to learn the skill, so that when quote unquote the opportunity that we want, that we're looking for comes, we're not prepared for it, and we miss moving one step closer to our goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah, keep your eyes open, guys. Pay attention.
That growth mindset. Yep. And then I think being able to be compassionate as we're moving through the place where we don't want to be helps us down the road. Because like you said, Danita, someone from France, someone who speaks French, someone who has a course, a class, something shows up in your life, and they just start talking to you because you've had compassion and they see how you move. Right. And they're like, oh, I like Danita because, and it has nothing to do with you going to France. They just like you because of what you've been doing and how you've been rolling. And they start talking to you. And then we realize, hey, man, I'm from France and I'm going to France this summer. And now you're my girl. You're my boy. Hey, you want to take a trip? What?
Yes.
Right, and it had nothing to do with you and it had nothing to do with you trying to get to France. It's just you being compassionate and being a human being to people around you.
Exactly. But again, like you said, if you don't look sharp, you'd be like, nah, man, I can't go because I got this bill. And not realizing, here's your opportunity. Like, hello. Yeah, so that's what we mean. You gotta pay attention, be prepared.
Right. Yeah. Because there are times when we want it a certain way. We want it to show up a certain way. We want the big, we want the dream. We want the Cinderella. We want the fairy godmother to show up and hit us with the wand. And all of a sudden, we're driving down to the airport in a big limousine and we show up in France and we got the whole city come out to meet us because we're it now. No, it just be, yo, I'm going home this summer. You want to come hang out with my family? Boom.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. No fireworks. No, nothing.
So I love that. Yeah. I love that. And then, like I said, when we were talking about growth mindset, surrounding yourself with positive, influential people or positive people who influence you.
Yes.
To dream big. Got to be important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because we don't rise by ourselves.
No, we can't. You can't. Yeah. That's it's lonely.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
So. And then I think the last thing I want to talk about is developing. Well, not the last thing. One more thing. So developing good habits. Developing good habits. Identify the habits that are holding you back. And minimize those and develop habits that will make you go further.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that you're trying to save for a house. Then you don't need to be buying Starbucks every day.
Yeah, but Starbucks tastes good though.
No, notice, see. Now you went from buying Starbucks every day to no Starbucks. That's not what I said. Right. So you said this week.
See, but that's what we do.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what we do. And that's why oftentimes we fail because you said not every day. And I said it tastes good, which means it's completely eliminated from my daily ritual. So of course now I'm going to go from not buying Starbucks for maybe 2-3 weeks, like we said earlier in the show. And then I'm going to just go for the rest of the year buying Starbucks. Right. So that's the end of what I was trying to do.
Yep. So, I am saving up for some stuff. I got to get some new equipment here in my office. There's a trip I want to take that me and a friend have been talking about, and what I love to see, and so I have an account that I've said that's been set aside, and so my wife and I, I'm looking at the account, and I have not spent. I think I've spent like $30 over the last 2 months, because every time that new money goes in for that month, I'm like, yes, look at that, it's getting big, like, and I get excited. I love to see it grow. I love to see that money grow, and I think sometimes that excitement is what helps us get through the, like we said, not Starbucks every day. So not Starbucks every day. Maybe you're doing Starbucks every day. Well, this month, this week, whatever, set a smart goal. How much am I going to save?
Right.
Where's that money
Right.
coming from?
Right.
Right. So instead of buying Starbucks every day this week, maybe you buy it 6 days a week. Right. Eliminate one. Right. So that $5 or whatever the number of, depending if you get a grande. Right. So whatever that money is, okay, for that day, I would not get it. Or maybe you say every Wednesday, the money that I would spend on Starbucks, I'm gonna put that away.
Right. Right.
And people say, "Oh, that's not gonna make a difference." Yes, it will.
It does.
So 365 days, right? So we got 52 weeks, right? Somebody do some math. If you're out there, do some math for me. So we got 52 weeks, and let's say it's $10, right?
Times
that's
50,
five. That's
that's
over
five.
$500.
Yeah.
That's a plane ticket, y'all.
Hello. Talk about it.
Right?
Talk about it. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that brings into what I think is a huge thing that we don't talk a lot about. And it comes from finances, but it is applicable to our entire lives. And that's the effect of compounding. The effect of compounding. Okay?
Yes.
So let's take that example that we just used. Today you got $0. Okay? Let's say you start there. And people say, well, you know, my $10 that I spent on Starbucks doesn't make a difference. Okay?
It makes a difference.
But this week you decide you're going to save $10. And next week you decide you're going to save $10. And so on and so on and so forth. And within a year, you've got $520. 52 weeks, right? Actually, you have a little bit more, but that's okay. It's because we haven't talked about insurance and all that stuff yet.
Right.
But looking back now, the amount of money that you have accumulated over the past year is not zero, because that's where you started.
Right.
But because you put money away over time, and you put it away in a way that it doesn't hurt. Right. So what a lot of people do is they, like you said, Danita, before, they go from Starbucks every day to no Starbucks at all.
Yeah.
And the body and the brain revolts against that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But okay, on Wednesday, I'm not going to on Wednesdays, I'm not going to buy Starbucks. And you go through Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you almost don't even realize sometimes that you didn't get Starbucks on Wednesday. Okay? Because it's automatic. It's like, okay, this is what I do now. So now, right, you got $520 this year, and you do the same thing next year. Now you got $1,040. And another year, whatever the number of years. But at the same time, right, we're getting interest on that money. Right? Assuming, you know, and you can make bigger investments and so forth, and we won't get into all of that. But you're getting some interest on that money as well. So not only is your principal growing, but you're also getting interest depending on the kind of account you have. So that is growing. So the same thing happens in our lives. We say, oh, walking one day a week is not going to make me smaller. Well,
yeah, it will.
Maybe not that. Maybe not that one thing, but if you do one day a week for 52 weeks, guess what? All of a sudden, you start to. You're like, wait a minute, I'm down 10 pounds. Now let me see. Do I have my? Hold on a second. Let me see if I have my my model. Hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back. Continue. You can talk.
I'm not good at talking.
There it is.
Yeah. What kind of model is that?
All right. So people say 5 pounds Like, so you walk and I lost 5 pounds. So I have people come in the office and say, "Oh, I've been exercising, I've been eating better, I've been walking, and I only lost 5 pounds." And I'll say to them, wow, 5 pounds, that's great. They say, "Oh, that's nothing." But let me show you what 5 pounds looks like.
That's 5 pounds?
This is 5 pounds. Let me see if I may hold
That's
it
a
up
lot.
this way. Yeah,
That is a lot.
that is a lot.
Is that heavy?
Oh yeah, it's 5 pounds.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. So that's what 5 pounds looks like. So there are people who come in and they've lost 10 pounds. And they're like, "Oh, I've only lost 10 pounds." I said, "Do you know what 10 pounds looks like? You've lost 2 of these."
2 of those. Oh, my goodness.
But
wow.
because we are expecting, I'm going to hold this up so we can zoom in on it. Yeah. But because we're expecting, I don't want to say a miracle, right? You know, somebody wants to lose, say their doctor says to them, "Hey, you got to lose 40 pounds. We're thinking about the entire 40 pounds.
Right.
As opposed to, okay, well, let me lose 5.
Right.
If I lose 5, I'm losing this thing right here. Right?
In 5 pounds, you can see the difference in your clothing with 5 pounds.
You can.
Like, it's
see the
visible.
difference.
It's visible. Wow.
So that's weight, right? Say you are trying to transition. You're trying to transition careers. And you're like, "Well, yeah, I know I need to get that certification. No, I need to do that. You know, taking a class one night a week is not going to help." Well, how you know?
Yeah, you got to start.
You got to start, because if you don't start, guess what? It's not going to happen.
It's definitely not going to happen. It's what is a self-fulfilling prophecy?
It is a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Yeah.
Because you're creating the result that you don't want. So we going back to our idea of your belief about an event, right? So I want to do this, or I need to take this class. Well, the class is not going to help. So my belief about that dictates my feelings. So I'm now depressed. Dictates our behavior, so I don't take the class. Dictates our actions, right? And dictate the result. So because I felt some way about it, I didn't take the class. And because I didn't take the class, I never got the degree. Because I never got the degree, I never got the job I was looking for. So I created the result.
Exactly.
Right? And so we've got to make sure that we aren't doing that. So yeah. So those are the things. So acceptance, right? Where we are, we got to do some self-reflection. We got to set smart goals, right? So remember, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based or time-bound. We got to embrace a growth mindset, saying that, hey, I can be different, I can be better, and I can have more things than I have right now. Continuously learning, right? Always committing to being a lifelong learner. Practice self-compassion and practice compassion for those people around you. Surround yourself with people who are positive and people who are influencing you. Develop good habits and be attentive to the compounding of what you do, because a little bit goes a long way, yo.
Very long way.
Love it, love it. So, Danita, we have a call to action for our people today. What do we want them to do after all this stuff?
I think you called it just now.
You think that's it?
I think that was it. And that was good.
So I'm gonna give you guys one. Send this link to somebody. Okay. I think this conversation that we just had, a lot of people need it.
Yeah.
So go ahead and send the link. Let them know that this is one that they should listen to,
Sure.
and make sure you subscribe if you've not done so. Have them help them subscribe, and then come on back to our shows in the future, because we are in the woods and we're coming out of these woods, y'all. All right, we coming. Sometimes we're kicking and scrapping, but we coming out. Sometimes we take one step forward and one step back, but we coming out. We are not staying where we are right now. So good. So yes, go ahead and do that. And then if you see us out there in the social space, drop us a note. We each are doing things other than this show. So go ahead and hit us up on our Instagram. You'll see Danita's on the screen there, Danita_Wood. And then me, Dwayne Wood, MD. You can find me on all the social media platforms there. This is Dwayne from Into the Woods.
And this is Danita. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with us.